What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Three-Man Broadcast here. I am your host, Hard G Snipe, and today we are going to talk about the Xbox E3 briefing. Yes, E3 is now here, and with it, all these new games, all these new features, technologies, and all that stuff has come out. And today we're going to review Xbox's, so to say, performance on it. And mostly their big concern about this one, I believe, their big main thing that they wanted to hit on is pretty much the compatibility of everything from Xbox One to PC, back to Windows 10 to tablets to everything else. They really wanted everything to be connected in one big universe. Let's say you want to play a story mode game and you play it on your Xbox. You can save it on there. You can go out of town on like say on vacation. And you want to pick it up on vacation if you want to, because if you're a loser like that, and you can play it. You can pretty much play it anywhere you want to, the story mode or anything you want to. And also, you can also play with on Xbox. You can also cross-platform multiplayer with games. You can, while you're playing on Xbox, somebody else can be playing with your PC. Multiplayer, you can cross-platform stuff like that, like they said beforehand. But yeah, pretty much let's go right into the E3 press conference. And when the first thing they showed off at the press conference was their Xbox Slim, pretty much everybody knew this was coming out. I thought it was going to be black, with the same tradition, but, they made it white. They might come out with a black version of it, but it's a Xbox One slimmer version. They said 40% slimmer, or 40% smaller the size of the original Xbox One. And it actually comes with a very surprising, when I first saw the price, it was surprising, only $300 for the Xbox One Slim, which was pretty amazing as well to hear that. Like, it pretty much blew my mind. I thought it was going to be, $450, $500 even for an Xbox One Slim, but to see it at $300 is an amazing feat. And then they finally got into the games, which everybody was anticipating about. They showed off Gears of War 4. In my opinion, Gears of War 4 from the gameplay trailer that they showed, it pretty much didn't impress me, to be honest. It really didn't. I mean, it felt like the same old Gears of War, in my opinion. When I watched the gameplay of it, I was like, is this Gears of War 3? Like, is this like a DLC? This is like, it looked like a DLC version of Gears of War 3. And then they did show older, Grandpa Marcus Phoenix, which everybody, screamed and school over, because like, oh, Marcus Phoenix, oh, original character. But yeah, I mean, it didn't impress me too much. It felt like a Gears of War 3 add-on, to be quite honest. And then they finally got to the racing games. Forza Horizon 3, they released, and yes, I was so happy about this game getting released. Forza Horizon 2 was a great game, and Horizon games have pretty much been, dominating, or I believe Horizon games have been better than Motorsports. Motorsports are the type of games where professionals race on it, and Horizon is sort of like, you just want to race anywhere you want to, you just jump in a car and go anywhere. And they finally, one thing I did have a critique about for Forza Horizon 2 is that they needed to include more, the professional side of racing. They needed to blend motorsport and Horizon into a game, in which they have showed, which they did in Forza Horizon 3, which was happy about. They had a nice blend of motorsports as well. They had the blend of motorsports with street racing, professional racing, with cars mixed in with, the off-roads of Australia, which they said the game was going to be set in Australia. And with the outdoors of Australia, road racing, fighting off against a fighter jet, having a Jeep getting carried by a or a buggy, whatever helicopter thing that is, which is pretty sick as well. And also, it does have they did introduce a Horizon co-op campaign. Yes, this is one of the major talking points of Forza Horizon is the co-op campaign. I cannot wait for the co-op campaign to be released. I know me and my friends, we played Forza Horizon 2. Even till this day, we still play it, and to be able to help each other, do races with each other and help each other out is pretty damn sick to be that. And then also after that, did show more Battlefield 1 from the EA press conference they had last night. It's pretty much just the same old. They pretty much just talked about what they did in their own press conference last night. So we're just gonna skip over them. And they did introduce some new features to the Xbox One in general. And these are the top two that I liked about is the Cortana, which is on Windows phones. They're probably bringing that to Xbox One, which is sick to have. Thank you, Microsoft, for having the Cortana finally be able to be on our consoles. And then finally, background music. I've been waiting for this for the whole time that Xbox One has been released. You don't know how many times I just wanted to play a game and I had to take my headphones off, let me plug it into my iPhone and play Spotify, and then I have to play my playlist there. We can finally play our playlist on Xbox One and have background music in our voices, or in our heads, I guess, which is a pretty cool thing to have background music, which I was like, thank God they're finally releasing it. Background music plus Cortana, great plus for Microsoft, pretty good. And then also, another thing that I was looking at, they did show as well, is that you don't have to go through third-party developers or third party, I'm gonna say third party makers for designer consoles, to where you can have your own like style, color of controllers rather. They Xbox have released, or Microsoft rather has released a new website, their own website, where you can actually customize your own controllers, which is pretty sick to see. I cannot wait for that to be released, and hopefully I can get my own custom controller, depending on the cost of the controller, and we can pretty much get our own controllers through Microsoft themselves rather than going online and going to a third-party developer and say, hey, I want this controller made. You can just go straight to Xbox and say, I want the controller made like that. And then after that, I did see some more surprises, like the ID at Xbox. They had some pretty cool games, and one game I wanted to point out in particular, which they did show gameplay of it, is let me see, We Happy Few. It was such like a weird game that like it was sort of twisted to where like it had a great story, by the way. Like the envision, whoever made that in their heads they were like top tier, amazing to think of sort of that. Pretty much you're like they call it a downy, and pretty much the whole world is controlled by these little joy pills that you take, and when you take it, you're pretty much it's sort of like PHP pills in a sense. That's what I think. When they're PHP, to where you take it and you're pretty much mind is looped, and just like they showed in the trailer, when you hit a piñata, the people that take joy pills think of it as an actual piñata, but when you see it in actual reality, you're breeding up like a dead dog, and people are eating it. It's really nasty and stuff like that. It's pretty much like a insane asylum, except you're the crazy one, but you see everything in reality, which is pretty cool to think about. The artwork was cool, story was amazing, like I said, so I cannot wait for that game to come out, and hopefully I'll play that in the near future. Then they finally dropped something that I believe was released later on, but I didn't know about it till like I actually saw it, which was Dead Rising 4. And Dead Rising 4, I cannot wait for that game. I played Dead Rising 3. It was a great game. It looks like more creativity was brought into Dead Rising 4, to where it's sort of Christmas time. I think they're going to bring back the original character from the Dead Rising series, the cameraman. Pretty much they're going to have new weapons, new envisions, new storyline for the game, which is pretty cool. And then finally, they had a new game brought out, a gameplay reveal, which is a game called Scalebound. And I sort of like, when I sort of watched that game, it was sort of like reminiscent to Lost Planet, where you had the cooperative with big bosses. You had your gun, you had your friends, go up against a big boss in an arena. There you go, and have it, which is pretty cool to see that they're bringing that. Scalebound looks like a pretty cool game. It's you, your dragon, the other people in their dragons, which is pretty cool as well, so I can't wait for that game as well. And then finally, just to top it off, the cherry on the top, right before the ending of the whole EA or E3 press conference, they had Halo Wars 2. I've been waiting for this game for about 5 years now, ever since they said 7 years ago. I thought when the game first came out, and 7 years ago, I was like, and was it 2010 they got released, 2009 they got released. I was like, 2 years after that release, I was like, man, I was waiting for Halo Wars 2 to come out, and it's been so long. I'm like, what's taking them so long to release a Halo Wars 2? Because it was a massive game. I mean, if any of y'all played it back when it first came out, I mean, it was massively huge back in there. I mean, people would drop Halo 3, they wouldn't play Halo 3. People would even play Halo Reach. They would still go back to Halo Wars in a sense, and battles were immense. They had hours on end. Battles would take 2 hours to complete, 3 hours to complete. The longest battle I ever had was like 5 hours straight of doing Halo Wars, which is pretty. Halo Wars was mental. Me and my friends, we played it all the time back in the day. We played it so many times, and to see it finally come out in Halo Wars 2 is pretty amazing to see. And hopefully, once Halo Wars 2, which I would like to see when Halo Wars 2 is released, hopefully they can bring out a Halo Wars original remastered, or pretty much just have it as a pretty much bring it with Halo Wars 2 to say, hey, if you bought Halo Wars 2, you get a free copy of the original Halo Wars, like they did with Fallout 4, where you bought Fallout 4, but you got a free copy of Fallout 3 backwards compatible as well. So yeah, I mean, pretty much Halo Wars 2 was pretty much my cream of the crop in that whole Xbox press conference. I mean, when I saw that, my mind was blown. I mean, I heard rumors about a beta coming out earlier, but I didn't know it was going to come out this week. I thought it was going to come out, maybe a month from now, 3 weeks from now. But to see it come out today, and I'm trying to find it on Xbox One after the press conference, because I am going to surely play it. Hopefully I can film it and give it to you guys, and hopefully show it off for what it's worth. Because, I mean, Halo Wars was fun, and it can only get up from Halo Wars 2. And then finally, at the end, they pretty much look towards the future with this new Project Scorpio. And apparently it's supposed to be the most powerful console, to come out. Hopefully I can buy it during the holiday season. Because, I mean, it looks sick. 6 teraflops, whatever that means, 6 teraflops of power. And they pretty much said it's going to be the most powerful console, in this generation, which is a pretty tough thing to ask for. I mean, you had all them guys show up and say, yeah, this game is gonna be the new Project Scorpio is gonna be powerful, it's gonna be amazing, it's gonna give us developers a chance to free roam and deliver the highest games possible, be good for the fans because they get to play powerful games in 4K HD, and then they said VR high fidelity, whatever that. And yeah, I mean, it's gonna be pretty much sick. And then that pretty much just wrapped it up. It says, yeah, this is gonna be the future. This is what we're gonna be heading to. Powerful games, pretty much branching to Windows 10, having backwards compatibility still, connecting to more friends, connecting to more consoles, connecting to more technology in a sense. Being the whole thing I took away from it is having Xbox not just in one console, but having it everywhere in your universe, having it on your phone, on your computer, on the console, and your tablet, pretty much having the Xbox anywhere that is within your reach to play as. That's pretty much what Xbox is going. I believe what their future is heading towards is pretty much just have Xbox everywhere on your console, like I said, PC, yada yada yada. And that was pretty much it for the Xbox press conference. Comment what you think down below about what you think of the press conference. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you thought it was all right? What games were you surprised about? And pretty much before this episode ends, in my opinion, I believe they did a great job with Xbox One. It was probably one of the top press conferences I've seen Xbox made. I would give it an 8.5 out of 10. It wasn't. They did show some heavy hitters like Halo Wars 2, Dead Rising, so that State of Decay 2 was also shown there as well, which looked pretty sick. But yeah, I gave it an 8.5. It was roughly, I would say I gave it a 9, but it didn't, my jaw didn't drop, all right, during the press conference. There wasn't no jaw-dropping moments to say, oh my god, like, this is happening, like, this is real, like, oh my god. Probably the biggest jaw-dropping moment was probably the Xbox One Slim version. Like, I was sort of like, okay, like, we pretty much knew it was going to be the Xbox One S coming out, but I didn't know it was going to be $300. That's probably the most surprising thing about the whole press conference, is that it was going to be $300. So, guys, comment down below on what you think of the E3 press conference of Xbox or Microsoft, the Microsoft press conference of E3. If you like this video, click the like button. If you're new around here, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you in a later video. Take care, everybody.